Welcome to the depths of the strange, otherworldly, unknown, paranormal, and much more, where we explore theories that defy logic, reason, and will leave you questioning reality itself. In this episode, we'll discuss elves, or duendes. Before that, though, it's necessary to discuss how children, up to a certain age, are able to see and experience things that we cannot as adults. A few theories as to why are the following. Children may be more sensitive to subtle energies or phenomena that adults have learned to filter out, dismiss, or just lose the connection to. Their minds are still developing, so they might perceive things that are unfortunately lost over time. Up until the age of 6 or 7, children's brains are still developing, and their perception of reality is not as rigid as that of adults. Very rarely will they have psychological factors such as stress, trauma, or subconscious mind influence that affects how they perceive and interpret their surroundings, making them more capable of having almost a sixth sense. Some theories suggest that spirits or entities exist on different frequencies or vibrations that are more easily detectable by children, whose minds and bodies may resonate more closely with these frequencies than those of adults. The higher the vibration, the more awake, aware, and enlightened a human is to their spiritual surroundings. Children are free-spirited and vibrate on higher frequencies at first, giving them the ability to see what most adults cannot. With all that being said, the following is a true story. This event occurred in Callao, Peru during the mid-1950s. A little boy, we'll call him Will, around the age of 5 or 6, and his 2 younger brothers shared a room for a night at their aunt's house. The youngest brother was 1 and slept in a crib, while the other 2 older ones slept in beds across from the crib. During the middle of the night, while everyone is asleep, Will wakes up suddenly and sits up. He looks straight at his baby brother's crib, and he sees what he described as little, short, hairy men. They were about 2 feet tall, with golden brownish hair all over their face and bodies. They were circling the crib and staring up at the baby. One of them sees Will sitting there awake and approaches the foot of the bed and curiously stares at him. Will just sits there, watching them, almost hypnotized. They looked like they were being playful, but in a menacing way. All of a sudden, they start climbing the crib. Will now snaps out of it and quietly tries to wake up his other brother. At this point, the baby in the crib starts crying. He cries loud enough that their aunt is woken up. She comes into their room, turns on the lights, and the little men disappear, completely vanishing into thin air. Will sits there amazed, yet scared of what he just saw. It looked like they were trying to take the baby from his crib, and had their aunt not come into the room, who knows what would have happened. What were they intending to do with the baby? Why target an innocent child? Will was the only one who saw them and swore his entire life that he knew what he saw and what he saw was real, something he'd never forget. There are numerous anecdotes and stories from various cultures about children claiming to have seen short entities. These accounts are often passed down through generations as part of folklore or local legend. While such experiences are not scientifically verified, they can be deeply ingrained in cultural beliefs and traditions. People may interpret unusual or unexplained events, particularly those involving children, through the lens of local folklore, attributing them to encounters with duendes, elves, or similar entities. A duende is a Spanish term often associated with a mystical creature or spirit in Spanish and Latin American folklore. It's typically described as a small, gnome-like creature with supernatural powers. In some traditions, duendes are mischievous or even malevolent, while in others they are seen as guardians of nature or household spirits. They are often depicted as playful tricksters or protectors of treasure. So, what exactly are they, and what do they want? Children often perceive elves as playful and mischievous, making them easy targets for manipulation. In this theory, elves are a demonic entity that specifically target children, exploiting their innocence and vulnerability. They may appear as charming companions, luring children away from safety with promises of magical adventures. Once under their influence, the elves gradually drain the children's life force and obtain their young, innocent souls. What if elves are another type of unknown being living among us that are able to shape-shift? We all know that children most likely at one point in their young lives had imaginary friends. To children, elves could possibly appear as benevolent guardians or imaginary friends, fostering a sense of trust and dependency. However, behind this facade lies a more sinister reality. The elves subtly influence children's thoughts and actions, steering them towards paths that serve their hidden agenda. As children grow older, they may unknowingly perpetuate the elves' influence, becoming unwitting agents in their schemes. And then as young adults, perhaps these entities now shape-shift into certain people around their targets' lives to continue the mind control process. To clarify, the elves target young children to groom them into brainwashed adults and use them as puppets all through their lives. For what reason or intentions? Who knows? I think this last theory might be the case personally. The human brain, incredibly complex and fascinating, plays a crucial role in our thoughts and experiences. Dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, a powerful hallucinogenic substance, affects how our brain works, leading to intense feelings and strange visions. People who use DMT often describe seeing vivid things, otherworldly dimensions, and feel strong emotions. Some researchers even suggest that the pineal gland, or our third eye in the center of the brain, might produce DMT naturally, though this idea is still debated. Scientists are still studying how DMT changes our brain and what it means for our understanding of consciousness. Learning about DMT and the brain helps us see how drugs can affect our minds and bodies. There have been plenty of interviews with people all over the world who have gone through a DMT experience, and a good amount of them have shared similar stories about having come across small entities they can only describe as elves. Usually they are described as playful and jokesters, almost like teasing them for being in that dimension. Children are particularly susceptible to the allure of otherworldly creatures. Could it be that humans start off naturally producing DMT and have more access to their third eye during their very early years in life, and then lose it as they become older? Perhaps why children are capable of seeing these unknown entities, often viewing them as enchanting beings from fairy tales. Elves could possibly exploit children's fascination with the unknown, appearing as friendly guides to lure them into their realm. Once there, the children become prey for the elves' twisted games, their youthful energy sustaining the predators as they feed on their victims' fear and despair. Duendes or elves may seem like playful, happy creatures, but looks can definitely be deceiving in this case. There is no way to know for sure where they come from or what their intentions are. We can just go off of what witnesses have experienced and make our assumptions based off of that. My assumption leads me to believe these small entities have a dark and creepy vibe and agenda to them. As a child, I haven't personally experienced anything like that, but someone very close to me has, so I know that these things are real. We are only experiencing a small portion of what reality really is after all. That's it for this video. I'm interested to know your thoughts and theories, so feel free to share them in the comments below. I'm also open to future video ideas. If you enjoyed the video and like this type of content, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more videos like this. Thank you. And don't forget to keep questioning reality.